Today's the deadline given by the Trump administration for schools that receive federal funding to drop diversity, equity, and inclusion programs or risk losing that funding. But there's confusion about what exactly is and isn't supposed to be allowed.
The American Council on Education saying in a statement they need more information to act. Quote, the Dear Colleague letter's ambiguous language has only led to confusion on campuses about their compliance responsibilities. Its reference to DEI programs does not provide any clarity to institutions about their obligations under the law or how previously legal programs designed to support students now could be in violation of the law. President Trump gave schools 2 weeks to halt any practice that treats people differently because of their race. Schools that fail to do so could face investigation and lose federal funding.
Fox's Hillary Vaughn. Spring-like weather in the Northeast is going away, with highs falling back into the 30s as we move into March tomorrow. There's a risk of significantly severe weather from Texas to Mississippi starting Sunday. Another formerly hot technology is going away.
Microsoft announces this May it will shut down the Skype video calling platform after 21 years of service. Once the pioneering app for making free video calls, Skype began as an independent creation before being acquired by eBay and then eventually Microsoft. But as smartphones became ubiquitous and providers began offering integrated video calling on the Android and Apple ecosystems, Skype's use dwindled. Now Microsoft says Skype users will be migrated to their video conferencing app Teams, which integrates features such as meetings and presentations, but will port over saved contacts and chats. Eben Brown, Fox News.
On Wall Street, the Dow's up 272, the S&P up 37, the Nasdaq is up 137, and again, our top story, President Trump plans to sign an executive order making English the official language of the United States. There's never been an official national language. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
Well, our sunshine back around the lake today, although a bit cooler and breezy, too. High temperatures climbing to the low 60s. For our Friday afternoon, we'll go back down tonight under a mostly clear sky into the low and mid 40s. Warming up quickly again, back to 70 for our Saturday, and windy too. And get ready for the big cool down. High temperatures will fall drastically for our Sunday, with highs only in the low 50s to round out the weekend. That's your forecast for the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
How about savings off a brand new car? Randy Marion Ford Lincoln in Statesville. We've got our service loaners with just a few thousand miles on them. Save thousands of dollars on all makes and models. That's F-150, Expedition, Explorers, Lincolns, Corsair, Navigator. I tell you, these cars are like brand new. Never been titled. You're the first owner. Save thousands. Randy Marion Ford Lincoln, I-77, right here in Statesville. You know where we are, folks. Right where the spinning car is. That's where the deals are. Randy Marion Ford Lincoln. Come see us today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Happy Friday to everyone. You're listening to the Scoreboard. Yes, it is still me here on the air. We're going to be talking about sports here for the next hour. No, this is not the Home Ad Show anymore. Yes, this is still Joe Berg, but doing a little bit of sports talk here for you at the 11 o'clock hour. We're going to have some fun today. I got a lot to go over in the high school sports 2025 playoffs. We have playoffs in men's basketball going on. The high school sports scene is rich right now. Man, we got a lot going on. Not only is that happening, but also the spring sports have begun. Now, I don't have too many updates for you on the spring side of things, but what we'll do is we'll continue to talk about basketball for now, and I want to go over the girls' basketball scene first, then we'll go over the men's basketball playoff scene. But it's that time of year. We're at the end of the season for basketball. Teams have been placed into the bracket. We are through the first round of games in the 1, 2, 3, and 4A brackets. we're going to talk about not only the schools that we normally talk about, but also other schools in the general area, maybe even a little bit outside of our listening area, who are participating in the playoffs. Man, basketball championship, basketball playoffs, who doesn't love that? As we got quite a bit to go over. We're also going to talk about baseball today. Now, I know it might not be exactly what you expected me to talk about today, but I need to everybody here to understand that baseball has started. Spring training games are already happening. Like, baseball is upon us. It feels like we just crowned the Dodgers the World Series champions. And you may not know this, you may assume this, but the Dodgers, once again, are the favorites to win the World Series. Shohei Ohtani may be back on the mound this year. Ooh, boy, he had a great year last year. It's going to be even better if he's back on the mound. That's for sure. We're also going to preview the NASCAR Cup Series race at Circuit of the Americas, COTA, as it's known as. We are not running the full-length Grand Prix course. This is an alternate course that NASCAR has come up with here. And we haven't seen it in action yet in the NASCAR Cup Series. Every time we've gone to Circuit of the Americas so far, it has been the full-length track. This time, it is an abbreviated track. It's going to be interesting to see how things go here as we get into some road course racing. We had Atlanta last week, and man, what a completely different feeling leaving Atlanta versus leaving Daytona. More controversy for NASCAR, more inconsistency from NASCAR, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on as well. But first, like I said, I want to talk about girls basketball. We are in the playoffs. Let's go ahead and start with the 1A bracket. There are schools that we've talked about before that are in this 1A bracket. Now, the 1A scene is a little bit different. There's not all that many schools in our area that are participating in the playoffs. It was a rough season for a lot of the girls' teams, so we're going to quickly go through this. In the 1A, within our listening area, number 7, Christ the King. Christ the King out of Huntersville, they won game number 1, 67-37 against the Piedmont Classical Bobcats. So Christ the King moves on to round number 2, where they take on number 10, South Stokes High School. That game is going to be later on tonight at 6 p.m. In the 2A bracket, Lincoln Charter, the 5 seed, they are in our listening area out of Denver. Lincoln Charter is the 5 seed. They won their first game of the playoffs against Lincolnton. I don't think we can consider that a rivalry, even they're pretty close to each other. But Lincoln Charter with the 45-30 victory, they move on to play number 12 Forbush High School in the second round. Another school within our area that made the playoffs is Community School of Davidson. We've talked about them before. They unfortunately lost their first game of the playoffs. They went in as a 22 seed and lost to the 11 seed 53-40. Definitely a tough one for them there. But hey, you made the dance, and that's what matters. It's always great to see the schools in our area that are going to be part of the playoffs. The 1 seed is North Wilkes High School. They dominated Madison High School 67-15 in game 1 of the playoffs. North Wilkes moves on. Also, the 2 seed moves on, East Burke. Not too many upsets to talk about. East Rutherford beating Mount Pleasant is probably the biggest upset. You still also had a 19 seed beating a 14 seed. That would be Bandy's High School beating North Surrey. But for the most part, pretty much straightforward here in the 2A bracket. Moving on to the 3A bracket. And this is where I believe we are going to begin seeing some of the teams that we talked about all year long. North Iredell made the playoffs. Now, we talked about them. They had a really good season. North Iredell went into the playoffs as the 22 seed. They ended up playing North Buncombe High School. Unfortunately, North Iredell dropped that game 63-54, and North Iredell has been eliminated from the playoffs. East Lincoln also made the 3A playoffs. Unfortunately, they lost to Hebronton High School. North Lincoln made it as a 3 seed, and they played number 30 Crest High School. North Lincoln moving on. That was a big win, 72-26. We also have Lake Norman Charter, who made the playoffs. Lake Norman Charter was a 27 seed. They went up against one of the better teams in the bracket, Ben L. Smith High School, the 6 seed, unfortunately dropping that game 67-23. And as we move on to the 4A, the top schools don't really, I'm not confused by this. It makes a lot of sense. McDowell High School is the 1 seed. They went 27-0. Yeah, that's deserving of the 1 seed because the 2 seed, Lake Norman High School, went 25-1. Remember, the only game that they dropped this year was to Hebron Christian School, and they're out of Georgia. And that's a team that also only lost 1 game. So Lake Norman moves on. They are going to be playing in the second round against Northwestern Guilford. North Mech also moving on, as is Huff High School. We're coming up on the first commercial break here on the Scoreboard. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot more high school sports to talk about after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, our sunshine back around the lake today, although a bit cooler and breezy, too. High temperatures climbing to the low 60s for our Friday afternoon. We'll go back down tonight under a mostly clear sky into the low and mid-40s. Warming up quickly again, back to 70 for our Saturday, and windy, too. And get ready for the big cool down. High temperatures will fall drastically for our Sunday, with highs only in the low 50s to round out the weekend. That's your forecast for the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Listen, save, enjoy. The WSIC app, available now in your app store.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Join the Statesville Chamber of Commerce on Wednesday, February 26th for a night of celebration and recognition with the rescheduled annual Sage Awards for Statesville area growth and excellence. The event honors individuals and organizations that have made significant impacts on the community. The rescheduled Sage Awards begins at 6 p.m. Wednesday, February 26th at the Statesville Civic Center. Visit statesvillechamber.org for your tickets. Bin 110 in Cornelius presents live music Thursday through Saturday. Simple Soul, Vinyl Live, and Chasing Phoenix headline 3 straight nights of live performances. Visit bin110.com for more information and their full upcoming music schedule. We'll see you this weekend at Bin 110. Saturday night, the 500 Club in Statesville presents live music with Blackwater Revival. Blackwater Revival presents their performance of high energy and hard-driving classic rock music from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Enjoy live music at 6 p.m. Saturday at the 500 Club. The Daily STEAM program at Charlotte Motor Speedway offers student groups a fun and educational experience like no other. Students will relate motorsports to core principles of science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. Kids will experience force, motion, energy, and engineering through hands-on stations. Morning and afternoon sessions are available to accommodate school schedules. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information on the Daily STEAM programs for students. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Merlefest 2025, presented by Window World, returns April 24th through the 27th in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Hear the Avett Brothers, Bonnie Raitt, The Dead South, Watch House, Wyatt Floors, I'm With Her, Leftover Salmon, The Warren Treaty, The Steel Drivers, and many more. For tickets, visit merlefest.org.
Your Tuesdays just got a lot better. The Good Soul, a feel-good show that dives into the stories of extraordinary people, is headed to WSIC. Host Patty Alvarez brings a sit-down, fun conversation to the airwaves to give you an early week pick-me-up. home of the best talk.
WSIC. Local starts here.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC. We're talking about the local high school basketball playoffs. We were talking about the women's side of things. I want to go back into the 4A bracket. I feel like I kind of ran out to the commercial break there and didn't give it the love it deserves. So, Lake Norman High School is the 2 seed. They beat Cox Mill 85-40 in the first round. They played Northwest Guilford in round number 2. North of Mecklenburg is the 10 seed. They beat the 23 seed Southeast Guilford 71-32 to move on to round number 2. Huff High School with an upset win. The 19 seed beating the 14 seed Weddington 48-43 in a close game. Watauga High School is also in the playoffs. These are some of the schools that we're familiar with, who have been in a lot of playoffs games. Hickory Ridge High School, we talk about them a lot. They're in that 4A Greater Metro Conference as well as the 13 seed. They move on to the second round as well. The 1 seed, we already talked about it, McDowell High School, undefeated in the regular season and a commanding 57-30 win in the first round. Moving on to the men's side of things. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to start in the 1A bracket. There are not that many 1A programs in our area that made the playoffs here, unfortunately. But I will let you know that the number 1 seed is Bishop McGuinness. They did not get beat by Allegheny High School. They won that game 75-25. The 2 seed, South Stokes High School, also moving on. You have a lot of upsets in the 1A bracket. We had a 27 seed beating a 6 seed. We had a 22 seed beating an 11 seed, a 19 beating a 14. I mean, there were a lot of upsets in the 1A bracket on the men's side of things. One of the most interesting parts of this is you now in round number 2 have number 27 Bradford Prep playing number 22 East Wilkes High School. That is a matchup. One of those 2 schools is going to be going to the third round. I don't know how many people thought that they'd be going to the third round. I mean, Bradford Prep was 11-13 this year. 11-13. East Wilkes was a little bit better, 16-9, but still, you don't expect those 2 schools with that seed to be playing each other, but they both got the upset done, and now somebody's going to be going to the third round. Moving on to the 2A bracket. The 1 seed is Reedsville High School, and they absolutely demolished Brevard High School 73-19 in the first game. Lincolnton High School is in the playoffs as a 12 seed. They beat their opponent. They played West Caldwell in round 1. My alma mater, Pine Lake. Pine Lake's in the playoffs as a 13 seed. The 13 seed beat the 20, 81-66. Pine Lake moves on to round number 2, where they'll play Salisbury High School. Salisbury is the 4 seed, by the way. Community School of Davidson, the 19 seed, upsetting the 14 seed. That is, I think, the third 19 seed beating a 14 seed that we have. It's interesting. Interesting for sure. Lincoln Charter moves on as well. Now, the biggest upset is probably in this 2A bracket. Number 2, Randleman High School lost to number 31, Forest Hills High School, 70-62. How about that? In the 3A bracket, Statesville High School. We talked about them quite a bit during the year. They were doing okay. They had a winning record. They put up a decent showing in the conference tournament. Ended the season 15-11. They played Huss High School, Huss. Huss High School. The Huskies, as they're called. That's got to be tough to come up with a chant for that. The Huskies. Statesville, unfortunately, lost the game to the 12 seed, 75-65, but a decent showing as they did not get blown out. They put up a fight. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to come out the other end with the victory. Hickory High School, we talk about them a lot. Hickory High School is in the playoffs as well. They entered as the 14 seed. And get this, another 14 seed that lost to a 19 seed, as East Lincoln was able to come up with the upset in that one. Another school in the playoffs that we are very familiar with, North Lincoln High School. Now, North Lincoln is actually going to be playing Huss High School. Yeah, you didn't expect that one, did you? But they will be playing Huss High School next, as they were able to beat North Henderson 84-46 in the first round of the playoffs. So a great showing there for North Iredell. Also, the 4A bracket. We got to talk about those 4A guys as well. The big schools. I know everybody is pretty much entwined with the 4A schools because they're the more popular, they're the bigger schools. Lake Norman High School is the 1 seed. Yes, they ended up getting the 1 seed. And we talked about how good of a season both the men's and women's team had in basketball. Lake Norman is ranked number 6 in the state of North Carolina, number 28 nationally. That is a good basketball program there. 26-1 on the season. Their only loss also came to a team from Georgia, Milton High School. So both the men's and women's Lake Norman basketball teams' only loss of the season came to an out-of-state high school. That is going to be a team to watch. I said it during the morning show. I don't know if anybody was listening. I hope Lake Norman sweeps both the men's and women's 4A. That would be awesome. I don't know high school history in the area all that well. I'd have to look this up and do quite a bit of digging. I wonder if there's ever been a school to sweep both the men's and women's 4A, specifically 4A, because that's where it's really hard. Those 4A schools are huge. They got a lot of talent. Maybe in the 70s or something, way before our time, but I can't remember it. I know that Lake Norman did really good last year. Now, they didn't end up with a state title for either, but I know they did really well. So something to keep an eye on in that 4A bracket is going to be Lake Norman. Lake Norman's going to play Hopewell High School in round number 2. Mooresville High School also in the playoffs as a 12 seed. They beat Ardrey Kell High School 61-50 as they move on to take on number 5 Independence High School. That is going to be a good game. North Mech is in there, as well as Watauga, some of the schools that we are very familiar with. East Forsyth as well. North Mecklenburg, the 3 seed. So there's going to be a lot to watch here in the playoffs for both men's and women's. I'm going to have my eye on Lake Norman. That is who I am really going to be taking a look at. But now we're going to move on from the high school sports scene and get into some other things going on around the league. Major League Baseball is in the middle of spring training, okay? There is a change coming to the strike zone, I guess. The strike zone hasn't changed. It's still the strike zone. But now we have an automatic ball strike system. Now, this is not eliminating the umpire, okay? The umpire is still going to be making calls, but we are introducing the automatic ball strike challenge system. So this is going to be used for about 60% of spring training games. Basically, what it is, the umpire is still calling balls and strikes, but if you're the batter or if you're the pitcher or the catcher and you do not agree with the call, you are allowed to initiate a challenge. The challenge must be made immediately after the umpire's call without any assistance from the dugout or other players. The player will tap his cap or helmet to alert the umpire of the desire to challenge the call. They will then use the automatic ball strike system, and we see it on broadcast now, where every now and then after a pitch is thrown, they'll show you that animated strike zone of where the pitch went. And then the announcers will be like, ooh, that was a bad call. Or, hey, he got that one right. They go to that, they put it up on the screen in the stadium, and the umpire gets on the microphone and says the call stands or the call is changed. I personally like this a lot. I don't want complete autonomy for balls and strikes. And I know people disagree with that, but the umpire having their own strike zone and calling it the way that they want has been a part of baseball forever. And it's the human element. And I know a lot of people don't like the human element because it leads to the possibility of really bad missed calls, but I don't want an automatic ball strike system. This gives the players and the pitcher the chance to say, I don't agree with your call. Let's challenge that without every single call just being automated. And we've already seen it in effect in some of the spring training games. I think it's going to be a great system. I hope Major League Baseball implements it in the regular season. Halfway point here on the scoreboard. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, our sunshine back around the lake today, although a bit cooler and breezy, too. High temperatures climbing to the low 60s for our Friday afternoon. We'll go back down tonight under a mostly clear sky into the low and mid-40s. Warming up quickly again, back to 70 for our Saturday, and windy, too. And get ready for the big cool down. High temperatures will fall drastically for our Sunday, with highs only in the low 50s to round out the weekend. That's your forecast for the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
If you're a builder and you haven't went to Little Shaver's Wood Shop, you're missing all types of lumber products, hard to find woods and paneling materials that are in stock and ready to help you conquer anything the job throws your way. Locally owned, Little Shaver's Wood Shop has a friendly, knowledgeable staff to get you in, out, and on with your day. Little Shaver's Wood Shop, 3301 Salisbury Highway in Statesville. Little Shaver's Wood Shop, LILshavers.com.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Have you taken the Desco Challenge? The people have spoken. Desco is where the professional goes for electrical supplies.
Hi, my name is Randy. I'm a general contractor, and I always trust the products at Desco.
See for yourself at DescoInc.com.
Got a Toyota? Get it serviced at Quality Car Care of Statesville. Looking for a great pre-owned vehicle? Quality Car Care has you covered at 2040 Old Mountain Road. Visit QualityCarCareStatesville.com.
LKN Love Delivered. Show off your love for Lake Norman with unique lake apparel, home decor, and other gifts from LKN Local. Made by locals, for locals. They even hand deliver their quality products to select zip codes. Shop LKN-local.com today.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
You still thinking job change in the new year? Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rates you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now. 800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 800-452-1075.
24/7 worldwide, non-stop.
WSIC.
Local starts here.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Software maker Autodesk, whose products serve mainly engineering companies and departments, has been one of the biggest U.S. tech firms in recent years not to reduce headcount. That's changing. In a move to revamp its sales process and accelerate investment in AI, Autodesk says it plans to cut about 1,350 jobs. Giant PC maker HP is also swinging the payroll axe, planning to cut 1,000 to 2,000 jobs in the coming months. That follows HP's weaker-than-expected earnings forecast due to rising component costs, especially in light of new tariffs on Chinese imports. Even after HP said its results from the holiday quarter were better than predicted, its stock is down 6%. HP rival Dell is doing a reversal. Shares are falling 7% after they rose initially. As traders express concern that its profit margins will likely shrink this year due to higher costs for components in its AI servers, particularly NVIDIA processing units. Wall Street's indexes higher. Dow, Nasdaq, S&P each gaining 0.5%. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
It ain't easy being number one, but we make it look good.
WSIC.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's the Scoreboard on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Scoreboard. We are halfway done with this program on a Friday. 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464 if you want to call in and have a conversation with me today. We do have a caller into the studio. Let's go ahead and bring that caller on the air. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the Scoreboard.
Hey, how you doing, Joe?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you?
Oh, it's great talking to you. You're telling me everything that's going on in sports, so I look forward to your show because you're doing a great job.
I do my best. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I got a little list there for you. If you let me just tell you, I'll go through it real fast, and then I want your expertise when I give you my beef, so to speak.
Let's hear it, and then I'll go through it.
Okay. In basketball, these coaches, if you watch them in college, pros, they're all, they're screaming at the referee all game, every call that they make, especially, you see them and the referee, he ignores them. And then during the course of a game, a kid dunks on somebody and, and they give him like an attitude, a couple of words. And next thing you know, the referee's calling a technical on the kid. Because he's doing a behavior that doesn't go for, with the sort of a protocol with the college, what they expect out of kids. So they give him a technical, and I'm saying the coach screams at him, and then the kid does something, like he says something he should say, and next thing they're giving him a technical. Now, I want to go with in baseball because that's coming around. I think they definitely have to lower the mound because they're hitting in baseball in Major League. These guys are throwing the ball, 95, 100 miles an hour now. So hitting is down. And if you lower the mound, it'll help the hitter a lot. And if they don't want to lower the mound, they should just make it come back like another foot or two, to make them throw the ball. It would make a little bit easier for the hitters because the game has progressed so much that the hitting is getting, to be, you hit 300 nowadays, you're like a Hall of Famer. Years ago, there was a lot more hitting. And now to make you laugh, because I try to make everybody laugh a little bit, I know you're a lefty. I think you're a lefty. Am I right, Joe?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I am. Old Southpaw.
Well, I got discriminated against when I was a lefty when I was a kid. I kid you not. 7 guys in my team signed major league contracts, so we were pretty good. But they didn't sign me, and one of the reasons they didn't sign me, and I always bat a foot, not to brag. I'm an old guy. I'm just making a point. I realized why they never signed me. Why they never signed me is because I had a lefty. I'm a lefty, and I couldn't play third base, shortstop, second base, or catch. So what I'm saying, I want you to run the bases the other way. Every other year, they got to change it. No more running to first. Run to third. If you run to third, second, first, and home, you need lefties playing the whole infield. No more righties. Lefties playing the infield.
I love it.
So I just want them to do that, and I know they won't do it, but I've been complaining about that, and I hope I made you laugh.
Oh, that's a good one. I always appreciate hearing from you. So thanks for calling in today. I'm going to go over a few of the things that you brought up today.
Okay, Joe, it's always a pleasure. Just keep doing a great job like you always do, kid.
I appreciate it. You have a good one. Good to hear from you.
Talking to you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. I love it. We need more lefties. Yeah. Growing up as a lefty, you can't play short. You can't play third. You can't play second. You can't catch. You either need to know how to pitch, they'll park you at first base, or you can run around in the outfield. Now, I played the outfield. I enjoyed playing the outfield. But actually, there have been left-handed catchers in Major League Baseball. Most recently, Benny DiStefano played 3 games for the Pirates in 1989. He is a left-handed catcher. So it's possible. It's possible. Do not make fun of me, CJ. I am a lefty. I am discriminated against when it comes to baseball. So, hey, if you run the bases backwards, then you need the lefties. So, hey, I love that one. I wanted to talk about the basketball point that he made. Something needs to be done about these coaches. And Dan Hurley is like the number one example of this. Like, as a coach, you preach composure and like keeping your cool. And then the coach is out there losing their mind. And they're surprised when the kids lose their mind. So I don't know what you can do about that. Maybe technicals to the coaches is needed. But something needs to be done about these coaches losing their mind, but then also preaching composure to their players.
You could fine them. That's what a lot of because like if you look at like other sports, if like refs,
do they care? Like these fines are usually like $5,000.
Right.
That's like a penny.
Probably not enough to like make them care, but I think the schools should.
The school's not going to do anything if they're winning.
Make them aware that if they're outbursting in front of the kids, that something's going to change because it just makes it a bad rap on the school.
I think something has to be done in game. We got to start giving these coaches more technicals. I don't think the school is going to want to do anything because they're not, like I said, at UConn, Dan Hurley, they're not going to do anything. Dan Hurley just won back-to-back national championships. They're going to let him do his thing. But you see him all the time losing his mind, yelling at referees, and then you're surprised when the kids do it. It's like, hey, buddy, what do you think you're teaching them during the games? So something definitely has to be done about that. But lefties in baseball, man, we are discriminated against. We really are.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely gone to more a right-handed like. If you look,
it's always. I mean, it's always righties have always been what you
dominant,
want.
But they need more switch hitters. That
yes,
hit right and left.
Yes, the art of switch hitting. You're right.
Has gone away.
That's what I did growing up. I was a switch hitter.
I was just a righty, but like we used to play with a couple kids who were switch hitters, and they The MLB needs
That's
that.
not a thing anymore, man.
No.
It really you don't.
No.
I don't even know how many there are, but you used to see plenty, 2 in a lineup. You know,
Yeah.
now it's like, nope, I'm just gonna hit one way.
Yeah, maybe
Which-
one a year. We'll see.
And I guess while we're on the baseball topic, the thought of lowering or moving the mound, I don't think that's the problem.
Yeah,
I think the problem is the philosophy now.
yeah,
Because you hear it a lot in baseball. You hear about a 3 true outcome player, which is when you're in the batter's box, you're either going to strike out, you're either going to walk, or you're going to hit a home run. 3 true outcome players.
right.
That is so prevalent in Major League Baseball right now. They don't care if they strike out anymore.
Right.
I mean, strikeout numbers are through the roof.
Right.
And they don't care. It's not like as bad of a penalty as it used to be thought of. People strike out 2-3 times a game, and it's like, okay, whatever, but he hit a home run.
Well, like Aaron Judge, like he could hit a home run and strike out.
And he has high strikeout numbers.
Right.
Giancarlo Stanton, you want to talk about the Yankees.
Right. I mean, like all those guys will all strike out and they'll hit, 2-run homer.
And they'll hit 40 home runs a year. And
Right.
Aaron Judge is a little bit of an anomaly in that
Yeah.
situation because he hit over 300 last year.
Right.
And his strikeout numbers were down, but his walk numbers are high.
Right.
Like 3 true outcomes. You're either going to strike out, walk, or hit a home run. And I think that's the problem. There's no hit and run in baseball anymore.
Right.
There's no bunting to move the runner. You see it in the playoffs every now and then.
Like the
Because-
fundamentals have gone away.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know how we fix that. I don't know if we can fix that. I don't know if there's no rule that the MLB can implement to stop the 3 true outcome player.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think this year, as far as also last year, batting average was up a little bit. There were quite a few players that hit 300, but we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting year, especially with the automatic ball strike zone challenge system, if they decide to do that in the regular season. Final segment coming up. Back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, our sunshine back around the lake today, although a bit cooler and breezy, too. High temperatures climbing to the low 60s for our Friday afternoon. We'll go back down tonight under a mostly clear sky into the low and mid-40s. Warming up quickly again, back to 70 for our Saturday, and windy, too. And get ready for the big cool down. High temperatures will fall drastically for our Sunday, with highs only in the low 50s to round out the weekend. That's your forecast for the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Join the Statesville Chamber of Commerce on Wednesday, February 26th for a night of celebration and recognition with the rescheduled annual Sage Awards for Statesville area growth and excellence. The event honors individuals and organizations that have made significant impacts on the community. The rescheduled Sage Awards begins at 6 p.m. Wednesday, February 26th at the Statesville Civic Center. Visit statesvillechamber.org for your tickets. Bin 110 in Cornelius presents live music Thursday through Saturday. Simple Soul, Vinyl Live, and Chasing Phoenix headline 3 straight nights of live performances. Visit bin110.com for more information and their full upcoming music schedule. We'll see you this weekend at Bin 110. Saturday night, the 500 Club in Statesville presents live music with Blackwater Revival. Blackwater Revival presents their performance of high energy and hard-driving classic rock music from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Enjoy live music at 6 p.m. Saturday at the 500 Club. The Daily STEAM program at Charlotte Motor Speedway offers student groups a fun and educational experience like no other. Students will relate motorsports to core principles of science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. Kids will experience force, motion, energy, and engineering through hands-on stations. Morning and afternoon sessions are available to accommodate school schedules. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information on the Daily STEAM programs for students. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Merlefest 2025, presented by Window World, returns April 24th through the 27th in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Hear the Avett Brothers, Bonnie Raitt, The Dead South, Watch House, Wyatt Floors, I'm With Her, Leftover Salmon, The Warren Treaty, The Steel Drivers, and many more. For tickets, visit merlefest.org.
Craving a taste of Italy? At Palmadora's, we serve up scratch-made comfort with every bite. From our hand-tossed pizzas to classic pasta dishes, it's the perfect place to gather your family or just treat yourself. Visit palmadoras.com for menus and hours. Your table's waiting.
If you have an upcoming event, let WSIC spread the word. Go to WSICnews.com and click on the Community Calendar button. WSIC, proud to be part of your community.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with the final segment here today. 844-STUDIO-4, that's 844-788-3464 if you have something on your mind that you want to talk about. We're going to talk about NASCAR and hockey if we have time here in the last segment. I want to start with NASCAR. The NASCAR Cup Series was at the Atlanta Motor Speedway on Sunday. This is last Sunday, not this coming Sunday. And I'll tell you what, after the discourse that we had after Daytona about the state of super speedway racing, Atlanta was a complete 180 from the side-by-side gridlock traffic that we saw at Daytona for the Daytona 500. Atlanta was definitely one of the best races that I've seen in a while. The handling mattered. Cars were able to maneuver through the field. They were able to pass. They were able to go to the front from the back or go to the back from the front. It had everything that you wanted in super speedway racing until we got to the white flag. And this is where people have a problem. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that NASCAR should not have thrown a caution. A big wreck on the backstretch, you do not want cars piling into the wreck. That's not what you want. The problem is consistency. And we've talked about it all the time with NASCAR. They are consistently inconsistent. We talk about it all the time. Daytona 500, let's go back to the duels. Duel number 2. They wreck coming to the start-finish line, and they throw a caution. Completely unnecessary caution. The Daytona 500, they're coming to the line, or they're on the white flag on the backstretch, and there's a wreck, and there's no caution, and they let them race back to the line. And then the Xfinity race on Saturday happened at Atlanta. They wreck on the backstretch, big wreck on the backstretch, a lot of cars involved, and they didn't throw the caution. They let them race back to the line. And then on Sunday, the Cup Series, big wreck on the backstretch. They didn't let them race back to the line, and people are upset because of the inconsistency, not because of the caution. Now, there are fans that were upset because they threw the caution, because it looked like we were about to have another 3-wide photo finish coming to the line at Atlanta, which Atlanta might be the best ticket in NASCAR right now. I'm not going to lie. I was completely against it at first, but with the way that those cars draft at that racetrack, that was awesome. That was an awesome race, ruined by a crash on the last lap. Now, the race itself was good. The finish, not so much. Technically, it was still 3 wide. You had to see when the caution came out. But everybody is upset because of the inconsistency of NASCAR. When do they throw the caution? When don't they throw the caution? I'm not mad about the caution. Like I said, it was a caution. That was a wreck. That's a big wreck. You do not want cars piling in. But what you don't want is inconsistency. And that is the problem that NASCAR has right now. And there has to be a better solution. We stopped racing to the advertised distance because so many races were ending under caution. So NASCAR eliminated that by implementing NASCAR overtime. And there's been a lot of iterations of NASCAR overtime. There was one attempt at a green-white checker. After that, it's over. Then there was 3 attempts at a green-white checker. After that, if we still get the caution, it's over. Then there was The caution line. Do we remember the controversy surrounding the caution line at the Brickyard 400, the year that Casey Kane won? They held the caution until the cars passed the line where the race would be official. There has to be a better system. And I don't know if I've come up with a better system, but I am a firm believer that if you're going to complain and say we need to change something, come to the table with a suggestion. And my suggestion, which is done in other forms of motorsports, is local cautions. Only for the white flag lap. We do not need to throw a caution for the leaders when they're wrecking at the back of the field. Now, I understand even if there's a wreck at the back of the field, you're going to want to throw a caution because if there's cars trailing a second, 2 seconds behind, you don't want them going into that wreck full speed. There has to be a way, and I'm sure we can figure it out. NASCAR, you just signed $1 billion broadcasting deal. Use some of that money to figure out a way to implement local cautions on the white flag lap. A wreck for 20th should not affect the race for the lead, especially coming to the checkers. There's got to be a way. Now, I don't know if you split the track up into segments. I don't know if you can. Now, I don't know if it's even possible to say anybody behind the wreck is going to have the field frozen. Everybody in front can continue to race. I don't know if you can do that. That seems a little hard. And then you get into the situation of, okay, when does NASCAR determine who's behind the caution? And I understand we're opening up a can of worms here, okay? But there has to be a solution. And my suggestion is localized cautions, cut the track up into 4 segments, throw the caution and say, this sector of the track is under caution. Everything behind it as well is under caution, but the leaders in front, you are still green, race back to the line. Then once you take the checkers, be careful, there's an incident on the track. That's my suggestion. And I don't know how we can implement this, but I see that as a possible solution. We have a caller here into the studio. Let's go ahead and grab them before we get off the air here. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the Scoreboard.
Good morning, Joe Berg.
Hey. How are we?
Good. Tar Heel man here.
Absolutely. What do you got for me today?
Hey, yeah, no, I agree with you about I don't keep up with the NASCAR like I used to, but definitely need to get more consistent. They just seem to be all over the map. 1 week it's this, 1 week it's that, and just, get a rule and stick with it and just go from there.
Absolutely.
It makes a lot of frustrated fans when they just do it willy-nilly. But anyway, hey, had to make a comment. Tar Heels 4 in a row now, 4 wins in a row. So
and looking good doing it.
Yeah, got Miami at the Ding Dome this weekend, so hopefully they can take care of them and keep it going. Also had to make a comment about Mr. Steph Curry, man. What a game last night that guy had. 56 points, huh?
He is still one of the best players in basketball. I understand he's getting up there in age, and people like to point that out. But we saw it during the Olympics, and we see glimpses of it during the regular season. He is still one of the best out there.
Oh, yeah. I think it was like 12 for 19 or something on threes. I mean, that guy is just unreal. I mean, when he gets on a hot streak, just, look out. I mean, it was unbelievable. 56 points. But just always pulled for him, his dad and everything, all the local ties. So just seems like a humble guy, too, to be, such a celebrity and, everything I've read and heard about him and stuff. So it just makes me even more of a fan of his. But anyway, just had to call in and make a comment. I know you get to the end of the show, but appreciate what you do there, Joe, letting us call in and chit-chat a little bit, and hope you guys have a great weekend.
As well as you. I hope you have a good one, and it's always great to hear from you.
Thanks, sir.
You have a wonderful weekend. Yeah, the Tar Heels 4 in a row. That's big. We are getting towards the end of the regular season. You know what's coming up, CJ? What's today? You can turn your mic on if you want over there. What is today? What is today?
The end of February.
It's the last day of February.
It's March Madness.
March Madness is right around the corner. The final push. We got conference championship tournaments coming up. That's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I don't think that there's a better tournament in sports than March Madness, especially that first week. The first week where you got upsets galore. Upset after upset.
After upset.
Exactly. That first week of March Madness. One of the best sports weekends on the calendar.
Yep.
The NHL trade deadline is coming up in the final minute real quick. I do want to mention this is going to be on March 7th. So March 7th, the NHL trade deadline. That is next Friday at 3 p.m. So we will come on the show next Friday, and there's going to be trades happening. Next week is going to be a trade deadline special.
Yeah.
Because if you pay attention to the NHL at all, you know things actually happen on the trade deadline day. Unlike
100%.
Unlike football, things actually happen on deadline day. And I expect the Carolina Hurricanes to do something. The thought process right now is they're going to trade Mikko Rantanen. I don't know if they should. I think they should trade for John Gibson. I've been saying that for like 2 years now.
They should give Freddie for Gibson. They should trade Rantanen back for Nakis. Because if they let Rantanen walk, you're not gonna.
Unless they win the cup, they can let him walk.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
But right now they're not. You know, his best game was
We'll
last
see.
night. So.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning into the Scoreboard today. Always great to talk to you guys. I hope each and every one of you enjoys the weekend. I'll talk to you guys next week. Until then, you guys have a good weekend. See ya!
Serving you 1059 100.7 WSIC, Statesville, Mooresville, North Charlotte.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org